I always talk about leaving footprints, and the things that I've done, I think it's because I was told I couldn't do them. It motivated me. So I am a champion. I am a warrior for people that were told that they were, that they couldn't make it.
The first step in building a legacy starts with a name.
I got Boo at age 3, I believe. There's 2 stories. The first story is the false one, but it's the one I ran with because it was the most colorful. My dad said that if I followed in his footsteps as a ball player, which I eventually did, that with a name like Boo, if the crowd booed me, I would think that they were cheering for me instead. So that's the one I ran with. But the true story comes from my mom. There used to be a dance in the late 60s called the Boogaloo. When I was a little boy, I used to do this dance, and all my family used to call me Boogaloo. Do the Boogaloo, Boo, Boogaloo, Boo, and they shortened it to Boo. I'm kind of glad they shortened it. I'm not sure if I'd like Curley Boogaloo Johnson, but Boo stuck. People like yourself would ask me, well, what was it like growing up the son of a basketball player? They would never ask me about my mom. My mom would get ticked, So I'm a product of both my parents. My dad's motto was, son, don't ever give up no matter how hard you try. Don't ever give up. My mother's motto was, son, I brought you into this world and I can take your ass out of this world. So I'm a product of both.
A lot of things that my dad did to me when I was younger, I was, kind of angry with him. I was like, man, you're so tough on me, you're mean, you don't give me any encouragement or any support. And now that I guess I look back, he was preparing me for all the things I would have to face in life.
But nothing could prepare him for this.
You might lose a grandparent when you get to be college age, but you shouldn't be losing your parents. That's not what the rule book says.
When his dad passed away, that was a pretty difficult moment in his life, and I know when he's talked to me, what he's remembered most is how the Loris community was so supportive and always there for him throughout the time of his father's death, but subsequently after.
All the stuff that's happening to me in my life and what I've done, I had people that backed me, that picked me up, because when I went to Loris, it was extremely fragile at that time. Just losing my pops was extremely fragile, so Loris became my new family. That was the toughest thing to deal with, was his death. His death almost destroyed me. Almost destroyed me. I had plans to, and I have never told anybody this publicly, I had plans to end my own life because I knew he was going to die. When he was going to go, I was going to go too. So, man, I ain't never told nobody that before. If I did, I forgot about it.
A student coming to a strange place, new school, doesn't know anybody. Basketball helped a lot.
But my dad's influence as far as the game of basketball was, I owe him so much, and I wish he could have been able to see the ride that I had. As soon as I stepped on Loris's campus, I found out the hatred, the visceral, whatever you want to call it, between UD and Loris. They didn't like us, we didn't like them. So when we had to play them the very first game of the season in their house at their tournament, it was a hotly contested game. I was nervous the entire game because this was the first game that I was going to play, organized game, without my father. I was still going through a lot of emotional things and was very fragile, had a short fuse. So playing this game, I was so wound up that I couldn't make a shot. And I got fouled with 3 seconds left. So coach calls timeout again. We got 3 seconds and we got the ball at the hash. And he says, Boo, this is what I want you to do. I want you to get the ball and I want you to race up the court and try to dribble down the lane and force people on you, either pass to your right or pass to your left. I'm like, okay, coach. But then I started to think about it. I don't have time to do that in 3 seconds. But I didn't say that. Got the inbounds. I raced up the court really fast. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. I shot it, and I fell back and went nothing but net. Everybody's jumping on top of me and go to overtime, and we beat them in overtime. We get downstairs. I went into the bathroom stall, and I immediately started crying. I could smell my father. And then I thought about it. I was like, wow, I didn't even see the basket. I didn't see the hoop. The guy was draped all over me when I threw it. So I kind of figured that my dad shot that one for me. That was my debut game for Loras. And after that, I was kind of big man on campus.
Certainly on the basketball court, he was always very confident. If you didn't know him and you just watched his play, you'd say, okay, that's a person who's got some confidence.
It's not prescribed. It's just something that's in my DNA, that if you try to take the ball from me, I'm gonna make you look real bad doing it. And that translated to the way I played at Loras.
Curley's time at Loras was coming to an end, but not without a heavy heart.
On senior night, I'll never forget, and looking over and seeing mom and dad, Keith Simberg, mom and dad of Scott Eisenbarth, mom and dad of Dick Breitbach, and then there's mom of Curley Boo. And I just kept looking over there. It made me appreciate my mom more. I just felt deprived. I felt cheated that my dad couldn't have been there. I was more hateful of cancer. That's what took him away. And then whenever I'm honored, I get this feeling of, man, this is just not for me, it's for him too.
His college career was over, but the ball wasn't done bouncing for Curley.
I was offered a tryout with the Trotters.
At whatever age that was, that his dad had been this successful, well-educated person who then also became a Globetrotter. I think his dad was a significant role model for him, and he said, well, I want to be like him.
I knew that they were interested in the crazy things, the ball handling, the dribbling things that I could do with a basketball, but I knew I had to elevate my game as a ball player.
I said, you have to go for it. Right? If this is what you want, if you feel this strongly about it, and he did, I said, you can't just talk about it, you just have to do it.
When I went out to training camp, went up for a rebound, and I came down on somebody's foot and rolled my ankle really bad to the point where it swelled up, and one of the coaches came over and said, oh, you can't play, I gotta cut your ass. I was like, oh, damn. I worked so hard to get here. All of a sudden, that one coach that wanted to cut me, his name was Russell Ellington. He says, I want to see all you potential guards. I want to see you put on them knee pads. I want to see you do a dribbling routine. Slide on the floor, and I want to see you pat that thing. Pat that thing means dribble that ball. Not dribble like this, but dribble low, fingertips. She taped it up as best she could, high tape job, and I dribbled to the top of the key, and I rolled over on my back, and I said, did a speed dribble behind my head that I invented in my dorm room in Kane Hall. And then when I went to go sit down next to the trainer, she said, you just made the team. I said, you think so?
From Chicago, Illinois, please welcome number 17, Curley Boo Dustin!
you don't have goose pimples on your folks, you better check a doctor out first thing tomorrow morning.
ESPN 2. Okay. Hi, ESPN 2. We watch ESPN 2 sometimes.
The smile on this face. Look at this. Is that great? That's the Harlem Globetrotters. I tell you what. Oh, look at her. Bless her heart.
The most famous routine of the Harlem Globetrotters is the Magic Circle. I believe they started the Magic Circle in the 1940s. And it's the most famous routine and the coolest thing that we do. It starts the game off and only 5, 6 guys can be in it, and it's the best ball handlers on the team, and you go through a bunch of series of passes and antics that go back to a game called Pepper in baseball where they're doing all this stuff and whatever, and it translated to the Magic Circle. I wanted to get in that circle, and I finally broke into the Magic Circle my 3rd year. Once I got in that circle, I never got back out.
After he graduated, I just happened to notice in the paper that the Harlem Globetrotters are coming, and I said, well, I wonder if. And so it was at 5 Flags, I think, that they appeared. So my wife and I go, and sure enough, there he is, and it was like, he's not my son, right? But I felt this really sort of great amount of sort of fatherly pride, like, well, there's one of ours, one of mine, you know, that's made it.
Curley played 18 years in over 94 countries, entertaining millions across the globe. But now at age 40, he's struggling to take the next step.
Well, first and foremost, I was pissed off when my career ended. And you see athletes, when their career's up, they have a big press conference and they're in tears. And it's not because they're a sissy or a baby. It's because if you've never been in that position, you wouldn't understand that it's something that you can never get back. You are leaving something that you can't go back to. Because I thought that I could play season 19, and I was mad as hell when they told me it was time to step down. I bowed out as gracefully as I could. Was I bitter? Oh, hell yeah. Am I still bitter? Yeah. But the moral of the story is, I knew that it was coming to an end. I knew I was 40. I couldn't jump as high as I could, but I tried to stay as long as I could. People always say, well, when did you retire from the Globetrotters? I said, I never retired. They retired me.
For all the trips around the globe, his footprints always led him back home.
To learn what it meant to be a Globetrotter, the various experiences he had, like meeting the Pope, meeting Mother Teresa, lots of really cool experiences aside from playing in big venues and being this extraordinary dribbler. All of that was great, but it was kind of fun to know how much he appreciated Loris and had never forgotten Loris, and how much he always defined Loris meant to him.
Yeah, thanks for taking time.
Very proud of my college. And my college was mentioned in 94 countries. Everywhere I went, they'd say, Curley Boo Johnson from Loris College. So I was very proud of it, and I took it with me. And the 2 years I spent there, I had a blast. I made some everlasting friendships. I had great teammates, awesome teammates. I had a great coach. There was people in the administration, a teacher named Roman Chapelo who had the most influence on me as a teacher. I always talk about leaving footprints, and the things that I've done, I think it's because I was told I couldn't do them. It motivated me. So I am a champion. I am a warrior for people that were told that they were, that they couldn't make it. So I am the epitome of never giving up. And I think that's my legacy, and that's what I teach at my basketball camp, that you can do anything in this world if given the chance. And if you work hard, you give 100%, you work hard, and you believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. If you think you can, you just might. If you don't think you can, you probably won't. So that's my legacy. And I got a museum exhibit on my raggedy ass. Can you believe that?